Hello, everyone. Welcome to Listen in 3D. We're on episode number 22. I'm your boy Justin, aka Too Tall for You Fool.
And I'm Netta, aka Wondrous Net.
And together we are Team 3D, the host of Listen in 3D, where we discuss, dissect, and debate the music and the albums in the world of hip hop and other genres. If you like what you're seeing, go ahead, give us a like of this video, comment on it. Definitely share it around with all your friends and family and any social media platform you want to, and subscribe. If you do subscribe, help us out. Click the notification bell. That way you get notifications when all our videos go live. We have a lot of shorts on the channel and a lot of videos. So if you're on the channel, watch a video or two more. That way we are not buried in your YouTube algorithm. Helps us a lot, when YouTube recommends content for you guys to see. All right, so with all that out of the way, Netta, how are you doing today?
I'm pretty good. I can't complain. How about you?
I'm doing good myself. It's been raining here in Southern California, going through some thunderstorms. I don't know if you've been watching, national news or national weather channels or whatever, but yeah, we kind of going a tough go at it right now. Right now, it's sunny outside, but from what I'm told, if you live in Southern California, got to brace yourself. Another storm's coming, at least at the time of this recording. So, all
Oh
right,
man.
yeah.
Well, stay safe up there.
Yeah. I'm doing a bit. Well, I mean, you went through a thunderstorm a couple weeks ago when we recorded episode 18, I believe. Yeah. So, I mean, was there a lot of flooding or was it just like thundering or whatnot?
There was no flooding that I know of, luckily.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. But yeah, just trying to stay dry. But, I'll definitely be safe, be careful. I like staying home when it's raining for the most part. So, just the only thing is, I don't like going out after it rains because it's super wet, and then you got to wait for the sun to come up and dry up all the rain, as they say in that little nursery rhyme song. All right. Okay, so we have a classic for y'all, a Diamond album for you guys. I think it's our first Diamond album that we're reviewing, and yeah, we're gonna get into it. Netta, you want to discuss? You want to lay out the facts on this one?
Sure. So today we'll be discussing Beastie Boys' License to Ill. It was released November 15th, 1986. It was certified diamond in 2015. It was the first rap album to reach number one on the Billboard chart. It was the second album to ever be certified platinum. It had singles including Hold It Now Hit It, Fight for Your Right, and No Sleep Till Brooklyn, all of which there were music videos for. And they also had the singles of Paul Revere, The New Style, Brass Monkey, and Girls. And additionally, they had music videos for Rhymin' and Stealin', She's Crafty, and Slow and Low. And this is another album with no guest appearances at all.
Yeah, thank you for that. So yeah, the second album where we just the group had no guest appearances, and I mean, who needs guest appearances? When you're rhyming and stealing, very great on the very great on the microphone together. But one thing I will say, these three actually do go well together. So a little bit about the Beastie Boys, since they are a group. It consists of three white rappers, who were originally a punk rock band. May I add? Adam Horovitz, better known as Ad Rock, Adam Yosh, better known as MCA, and Michael Diamond, better known as Mike D. Um, so they started out as a rock band and then a hardcore punk rock band, and then after that they shortly went into hip hop. In about 1983, they signed with Def Jam. Short around that time, releasing some singles here and there, and then eventually they put out their debut album, "License to Ill," on Def Jam recordings. So just so that's a little bit about them. Adam Yach, known as MCA, unfortunately is no longer with us. So man, rest in peace. He died of cancer about 12 years ago now. So since then they haven't been doing like any like public shows or anything. At least none that I know of. I was a little when doing research on these guys, I didn't really find too much that they did for, the hip hop 50 years. I thought, they would have been at some performances or they would have honored this album, in some way. But I was a little not mad about it, just a little like you guys don't want to respect. I mean, these are like some of like the OGs, so I figured they would have did like a little more for them. I guess you could say. What would you say about that, Netta?
Yeah, when I did a little research, I found the same thing. Like I saw a complex article that was listing all the hip hop albums that went diamond, and they weren't listed on it at all. It might be because because of their punk rock beginnings,
I
or
don't know.
it could
Yeah, maybe.
it could be just the fact that they're white. I don't know, but I think that because they have a certain kind of privilege. I mean, if you look like they went crazy back in the '80s before a lot of black hip hop artists were selling a lot.
Mm.
I don't know if people hold that against them, or is it just simply the punk rock thing? Because then again, Eminem was on the list twice.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at what they did in the '80s, these guys were well, like let's just say you wouldn't want them performing at your like high school concert or anything like that. I mean, but I mean it. Yeah, like it kind of baffles me. I mean, I know, like when we'll get into it in a bit. I know they did like use like rock and roll like beats for some of their songs, but I mean, for the most part, I mean, they were rappers, and I feel they were hip hop. I mean, they performed with some of the greatest to ever do it, like from Run DMC to Houdini to LL Cool J, Public Enemy. I mean, they're in the same category as all those guys, as far as I'm concerned. So, I mean, why not give them their flowers for their contributions to what they did for hip hop? So that kind of upsets me a little bit. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, if it is a color thing, I mean, I think that's totally messed up in terms of like how they're being done. But I mean, em- for having Eminem on the list twice, I mean I don't know. I really don't know what to make of it.
Yeah.
But the good news is they actually did get a square named after them. If I could pull it up real quick, on the corner of Ludlow Street and Rivington, in I believe it was Manhattan, yeah, in the Manhattan part of New York, and where they had a Beastie Boy Square. So that happened back in September for them. So they do have that going for them. So I mean, they were one of the many hip hop groups to have a street or square named after them, as we saw late last year, from E40 to Tupac to Bone Thugs and Harmony to Easy E. I mean, yeah, it seems like they're in that category. So at least they did that for them at least. So I mean, good for them. But in terms of music wise, I wish I would have seen a little bit more. But I mean, maybe we could dig deeper, see if they were mentioned somewhere. We'll let you guys know. All right. So let's see. Did you have any memories of the BC Boys? Have you ever listened to like any of their music while growing up, or heard any of the songs? Not even one of them.
No, I had heard of the name before, but prior to listening for these purposes, I've really never listened to them at all.
All right, fair enough. No, for me, I have their greatest hits or one of their compilation, greatest hits. I kind of, what was the name of it? I think was it the anthology? No, Solid Gold Hits. That's the one I have. I have that. I had or had it somewhere because some of my CDs have been misplaced. But yeah, I never had this one that we're about to talk about. And in terms of music, I'm not gonna lie. When I first heard them, I thought they were black until someone told me they were white. Like, these are white guys, right, or something like that. I forget where I was, but yeah, I think yeah, definitely. So I heard some of their music early on, and definitely the local LA radio station I listened to played a lot of their, not a lot, well, some of their hits that we're going to get into. So that's you know my my thing with the BC Boys growing up. So So let's get into the album artwork. What'd you think?
Initially when I saw it, I was like, "Wow, this is very plain." But then when I saw that, like when you open up the album,
Hmm.
you don't just see the tail of the plane; you see the plane actually crashing, and
Yeah.
I was like, "Okay, that actually reflects." These guys' attitude on the album, what they're talking about, like partying, stealing, girls who steal, beer, rebellion, guns, White Castle. Once I saw when I saw it crash, I was like, okay, that makes a lot of sense. When I first saw the back of the plane, I was like, what?
Yeah, yeah. I guess you got to open up the whatever if you have it on CD, cassette, or vinyl or whatever. I don't plan on getting it, but I mean, yeah, you'll see that plane crash. But one of the things yeah, I noticed about the plane, it was a 727 like commercial airline plane jet, whatever you want to call it. And then if you look like real close, you see the American flag, so it's probably American Airlines. That could be the airlines, I don't know, or United Airways, I don't know. And then um, you see the Jeff Jam logo, and then you see 3NTA3. So I read about that, and it took me a minute to kind of figure it out. But if you put it to a mirror, you're gonna laugh at this. It spells "eat me."
Oh wow, yeah, these are guys are jokers through and through.
Yeah, these guys were some funny cats. I mean, one thing I will say, I mean, they're not my favorite group, but I enjoy their music every time I listen to it. So, yeah, and you can
I,
even see in their videos too that these guys they were just out to have a good time.
I've seen some other theories on the album cover where one person said it looked like a blunt being smoked,
Oh
like
yeah,
the end.
yeah, it does look like a blunt kind of.
And then I've seen other people say it looks like a phallic symbol. So they did a lot with this album cover,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
I
they
like
did.
it though.
Yeah,
Very
it's
creative.
a very creative one, and it's been in. I mean, I know Eminem did a similar one for Kamikaze. He put out, several years ago. So, I mean, a lot of people have taken inspiration from it also. So, um, yeah, pretty creative album cover. I'm not gonna lie to you, it's pretty cool. So the beats. I mean, production on the album was pretty good. It was done by legendary producer Rick Rubin, who the founder of Def Jam, and he's worked with many others in the music industry, from them to Public Enemy, LL Cool J, even in alternative funk rock, Red Hot Chili Peppers. He's been around. I even think he did some work with Jay-Z. What were your thoughts on the beats? Anyone in particular that you liked?
Yeah, I liked Brass Monkey. I originally thought, it was a trumpet or a horn of some
Hmm.
sort, but when I was looking it up, it said it was made by, some 80s machine, Roland TR-808, and you put
A
the
Roland
three
808. Roland 808. That's the drum
oh
machine.
Roland 808, and I
Yeah.
guess they made these sounds. I
Mm,
was really impressed that they made these sounds with a instrument. But I like the beat a lot. I just really like the fake horn
mm,
part of it when it's like and I don't know, it really sounds like somebody really, really trying to blow a horn. So I
yeah.
really liked it.
Well, we agree. I think Brass Monkey is my favorite beat also. I think it was a very creative beat, and great single, which we'll get into in a minute. And, just the whole, like, you could just play the beat for a minute and then it could just stop, and then you could just play it again. This is a beat you could just kind of play like all day long. And regardless of who's rapping to it, quite frankly, just, you know, it's just a good beat. It's been sampled a lot, but they were the first to ever have a beat of its kind. At least with that one, at least that I know of. So, but there were a lot of other good beats on here too. I also like the new style beat. I thought that was pretty cool. Posse in Effect, I thought was a good one. No Sleep Till Brooklyn, I thought was another good one. But my favorite was Brass Monkey.
Okay, well, we got one thing we agree on for this album so far.
We might agree on more. Who knows? Who knows? All right, let's get into the album singles. Since we're on the subject of Brass Monkey, I guess we could start with that one. I was a little bummed that there was no music video for it. I'm sure there's videos of you can find on YouTube of them performing the song, but as popular as it was, I would say it was arguably their second most popular, maybe even third most popular single on the whole album. Yeah, I was just a little bummed that there was no music video for it. What were your thoughts on that? Not having a music video.
I think it would have been better with the music video. I mean, especially with just such a unique beat. It's really a shame they couldn't have one, but
Yeah. And then as for the song itself, yeah, I mean, I do like how they do brass monkey, monkey. Yeah, and then they get into like the whole like rhyming and everything with that. So I thought that like I said, they really did flow well together. So it's like they could just take over like at any given moment, like for like whoever was rapping, like you can go from Mike D and then the MCA to Ad Rock or whatever. Just I think they're really good at just going like just rapping very well together. What were your thoughts
yeah.
on this song?
I liked it. What you just said reminded me of their interview, the one that you sent me from 2006, where the interviewer asked them about their artistic process and how they write songs, and they were basically like, she asked them, "Do you write your verse and you write your verse?" And they're like, no, we basically all kind of write together and we combine everything and then we distribute the verses. It's not a matter of I write mine, you write yours, you write yours. They all just, they work together to like put everything together. So I like that. I think that's cool.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, this song is a perfect example of that too. So you definitely know that they wrote their verses, together. Weren't like the typical rap group where it's like, all right, I go, all right, then all right, now your turn. Like, no, they did it together, and they did a very good job of that. So that's one thing I gotta compliment them on.
And you know what? That might be why they lasted so long. There's not that same sense of competition. In most verses, they're like, "Oh my God, he
Hmm.
ate him up in the first verse, and he got you on your own song."
Yeah,
But if there's not that kind of competition, you can probably last a little longer.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, they were a group that lasted a real long time. They even made music uh even during the time because this album came out when I was about 2 years old. Yeah, I just turned 2 years old, so they were still making music when I was in high school. Now some of their music later on I wasn't like the biggest fan of, but I mean maybe toward the end or maybe even off air, because just in case we do another Beastie Boys project, I'll get into some of the other songs I liked of theirs going into the '90s. Um, so next song we'll do probably their most popular song on this album, "Fight for Your Right." There wasn't really too much lyric wise going on here. Just, I mean, they pretty much just they did the same thing. It was just you wake up late for school, man. You don't wanna go. Just it was your typical, I guess, rock rap song kind of. But the difference. I mean, even though they were a punk band, like they were rappers because the thing is they weren't playing instruments, so it's like,
Right.
which we will get into the next video with that. But it's a funny song. Favorite lyric on here. You pop caught smoking, and he said, "No way." That hypocrite smokes 2 packs a day. So I mean, just simple stuff like that, and it really fit like the whole '80s frat boy scene if you really think about it. Like when you hear a song like that, so it was pretty
Yeah.
funny, and the video was pretty funny also in terms of like the humor, what they were about, and everything. Your thoughts on this song?
Yeah, I was thinking along the same lines. I thought it was it's kind of a song like about teenage angst. A
Yeah,
parent. It reminded me, I guess, this song came out 2 years later, but parents just don't understand.
Yeah.
It was like strong vibes like that, anger at the parents for being hypocrites. The dad tells you not to smoke even though he does. The mom is like, I'm gonna kick you out if you don't cut your hair. Your mom keep busting in your room saying, turn down your music. You're like, oh
Yeah.
mom, you're just jealous. It's the Beastie Boys. It's that classic thing. When I was looking at when I was listening to that 2006 interview, he said about this song that I don't know who exactly it was, but one of them said he wished they would have picked a different song. They didn't know that this song was going to end up being the main focus of the album because
Yeah.
it did, like you said, end up with a lot of drunken frat boy fans, and I guess
Yeah.
that's not what they were after. But honestly, I think it was a good pick, and in my opinion, it was probably the
It,
most relatable.
it worked out for them. I mean, they can't deny that. It did work out
Yeah,
for them. Yeah,
it was.
I don't think they were going for that audience, but I mean, it did work out for them. So I will say that.
It was kind of like the most relatable song on the album, from the point of just being a living being. Like everybody went through the phase of like being an angsty teenager, thinking
Mm,
your parents don't know what the hell they're talking about, even though they actually do, which you'll find out later. But even in the animal world,
yeah.
they go through that age of rebellion and stuff. So I'm like, this is a very relatable song. So I know he doesn't want to be known as a drunken frat
Yeah.
boy,
I
but
think
it was a good song.
yeah, it was a good song. And then I think years later they even like retracted like some of the stuff that they did in the '80s. Like, don't do that. Like we don't condone that. Or yeah, they kind of they were trying to play the good boys years later. But I mean, what's
Yeah.
done is done. I mean, you made a good song, and it's still relevant to this day. I mean, it's aged pretty well. So I mean, like you could still play it today, like at a frat party or just any party for that matter, and people will vibe to it. So,
Yeah.
um, so go on to the anything else on this song before we go on to the next single, music video, anything.
I like the music video. They come in and interrupt the nerd. Is it when they come and interrupt the nerds party?
Yeah, yeah, that one. Yeah,
Yeah. I
it
liked it.
was
It was it was fun.
it was a funny one. Um, we'll do "Hold It Now, Hit It" next. Any thoughts on this song?
Yeah, I didn't like this song much.
Okay.
It was just it felt obnoxious to me. It was chaotic. It was like to me in the ear. Like the first time I listened to this song, it was like 5 a.m. I don't know if I was grumpy or what, but I'm like, why are they like yelling? Like Jesus Christ! And it's like it was chaotic. The beat was kind of wacky. It had squeaks and whistles. They were making funny voices. They kept yelling. I'm like, oh god, I didn't like it at all.
Yeah, it wasn't my favorite song either. I mean, I did like, once again, how we've talked about before, how they, flow very well together. So they made it like presentable, but, not my favorite song. I thought the music video was pretty humorous, though. I thought it was a pretty funny music video, but uh,
Yeah, it was kind of like the song. It was all over the
yeah,
place. They're
it was
like,
all over the place, though. But it was just a little funny, and it just, I think once again, it just showed like their craziness.
yeah, seemed like a whole movie.
Yeah. And then the last one, I guess we can get into is No Sleep Till Brooklyn. Yeah. So this song, just I I like how in the music video where it's like the dude's waiting for him. It's like, you're late. Wait, where are your instruments? And then one of the guys just shows them a record. So I think that just shows you right there that there was a divide between rock and rap or hip hop, whatever you want to call it. Back in the day, where it was just like rap is crap. No, we don't even play rock here. Like rappers, get out of here. So I think they did break that stereotype a little bit, and I gotta give it to them. I mean, they for a former punk rock band, they embrace that. Hey, we're rappers now, and hey, we rap. So I thought that was pretty cool. I mean, as for I thought the beat was pretty good. I like that that rock beat. I thought it was pretty cool, and along the lines of "Fight for Your Right." I think this one was a little better though, and in terms lyric wise, I think I like the first verse. Foot on the pedal, never ever false metal. Engine running hotter than a boiling kettle. My job ain't a job, it's damn good time. It goes on. So I really like that first verse there for No Sleep Till Brooklyn. Once again, they like finish each other's verses, so they flowed very well together. What were your thoughts on No Sleep Till Brooklyn?
Um, I liked it. Like you, I enjoyed the video when they're like, "What are you doing? Where are your instruments?" Then they go disguise themselves as rock artists, and which is apparently okay until the end when they're like, "Wait a minute, you're not rock artist," and then they try to kick them out again. But it's interesting. The song is, I'm sure, very exaggerated, but it's also very true to what
It
they
is.
were
It
living at
is.
the
It
time.
is true. It is true.
They're saying, our manager is crazy. He always smokes dust. And, they're saying limos, arenas, TV shows, autograph pictures, and classy hoes. Like,
Yeah.
oh, this in trash and hotels, like it's going out of style. And they say, my job ain't a job. It's a damn good time. So I liked it. It kind of gives you a peek into their lifestyle, and they're always stealing, and that in this album, stealing is like a theme. At the very end of the video, they like steal the safe. So it was a pretty fun song.
Yeah. It definitely was. I mean, one thing I will say about the Beastie Boys is they were responsible for elevating hip hop as much as Run DMC was. I mean, once again, I probably should have said this at the beginning of the episode, but they were just as responsible as getting it to suburbia America and getting more rap on MTV. If not more, especially with their Diamond album. So I mean, definitely, you see videos like this, that they're going to be in the rotation, and it's just like, wait a minute, these guys are rappers, they're not rock stars, like. So I mean, yeah, I mean, they definitely. I think this song definitely, breaks this, says that, explains that there was a stereotype back then, like, hey, we only play rock music here, and disguising yourself as a rock band when you're a rap group. I mean, yeah. So I mean, yeah, I think the song was, very cleverly made and, definitely a good hit for him. All right. So moving on, now that we did like the main singles, there were a lot of singles, folks, but for time purposes, we talked about every single. We'd probably be here for the next 30 minutes. So we're gonna discuss our favorites now. So lay it on me. What were your favorite tracks?
No Sleep Till Brooklyn, Girls, and Fight for Your Right to Party.
Okay, we got two of them right.
Not right.
We matched on two of them.
Okay.
All right. No Sleep Till Brooklyn. Actually, no. One of them. No Sleep Till Brooklyn. My bad. Yeah, I was thinking of Brass Monkey and Paul Revere. Those were my three. With an honorable
Okay.
mention of the New Style and Posse in Effect.
Okay.
So
I liked Paul Revere too. It just didn't make it.
okay, just didn't quite make it. Okay. So let's start with you and Girls. What do you like about that song? I want to know because if I were to rank this whole like track list on this whole album, that would have been the last. And I mean, I do like Girls. Don't get me wrong, but I mean that song. Yeah, I just want to know, like, what did you like about that song?
I liked how the beat, which was like very soft and dainty and girly, it was like ding 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 ding. And then when he comes in with his crazy harsh voice and he's like, girls, I don't know, like I really like the way like I like these things juxtaposed against each other. I thought it was funny. Um I like them talking about all the things they like about girls, but at the end, relegating them to their domesticated duties. I thought that was funny. I'm sorry.
It's a funny song, but to me, and yeah, so yeah, I will say, yeah, this was probably like my least favorite song on the whole album, but it's like one of those songs you hear like at a middle school or high school dance. It's just like people just start dancing along to it. It's just, yeah, I just yeah, I can't do girls there. You're on your island on your own there, Netta. Like when it comes to the song "Girl,"
Understandable.
it's all good. All right, so Paul Revere, I thought that was a good song. I mean, it's my favorite song on the whole album. I really like the lyric wise, definitely. Now here's a little story I got to tell about three bad brothers you know so well. It started way back in history with Bad Rock, MCA, and me, Mike D. That was probably like my favorite whole bars on the whole album too. Didn't have the best beat, but I just really like how that song started out, and then do 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 do. It was just a solid, like laid back beat when it came down to it. So, I mean that was the other one, and then the other the other songs we put out there were singles. So this was a little similar to the Mob Deep episode where pretty much the singles were pretty much the best songs on the album. So
Yeah, they chose right. With regard to the Paul Revere one, I wish they would have put out a video for that one, but I see their budget must have been very low,
yeah,
if considering the videos that they actually did put out. But it was cool, they're like talking about all meeting up as fellow outlaws and, becoming a group.
yeah.
I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, well, yeah, it would have been nice to have a video for this one too, and maybe girls, I guess, if you want.
What about the other one? It was like, what was it? Something about a girl that likes to
S-
steal.
Slow and
She's
low.
crafty.
Oh, she's crafty.
She's
Oh, that was a pretty good
did you?
song. I mean, it wasn't my favorite, but it was a pretty interesting song in terms of lyric wise and everything. I didn't think it had the
I,
best beat, but I mean, it was all right.
I liked how he was just talking all kinds of shit about her, how horrible she is, and he at the end he's like, and she's just my type.
Oh yeah, she robbed us blind. She took all we owned, and the boys blame me for bringing her home or something like.
Yeah, she did all kind of stuff, and she's just his type.
Yeah,
So that was funny.
yeah, that was a pretty funny song. I mean, for the most part, the whole album was pretty interesting. I mean, they used samples all over, and I know in the last song, I believe it was time to get ill. They used what was it? Like a Mr. Red sample, that old 1950s sitcom about a talking horse. Maybe your parents knew about that show. I watched it on Nick at Night during like when I was a kid, so that's how I know about Mr. Red. But I mean, I thought that was
I never saw it, but I looked it up when I heard it on air because it just seemed so random. But yeah, that
yeah,
was random. They also used on that. I like that. I don't know what they call it when they stop the track after they do the wiki 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 thing,
oh,
but
scratching.
yeah, when they scratch and then Mr. Ed came in and at the beginning they scratch and
Mm,
the schoolboy D comes in and say, looking at my watch is about
yeah,
looking at my Gucci, sorry.
yeah,
Looking at my Gucci is about that time. But I like that part of the beat too.
yeah, yeah. I
They
mean,
had a lot of those moments in the album where they're
yeah.
like skirt skirt.
Yeah, that's what I liked about New Style too. I mean, it didn't make it in my top three, but I just like the beat changes in that song. I thought it was pretty unique.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, I put that same exact thing down. I said I like the beat change at the end when
mm,
they be like wicka wicka cooling in the summer on a hot summer day.
yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that song. That's probably a song I probably will take back to my playlist because I hadn't heard it enough. So I definitely do want to experience more with that song. But for the most part, I mean, it was a great, enjoyable album for the most part. I mean, well, you already know my lowest ranked track. What was yours, out of curiosity?
Um, hold it now, hit it. Yeah.
Yeah, Holding Now hit it. It was a wacky video. I'll give it that much. But yeah, song. Yeah, probably won't be going back with me to the playlist.
Yeah, a lot of these songs, to be honest, like I had to like sit down and say, just listen to it because they're just yelling, and I'm just like, why do you guys have to yell? But it was okay. I have to be like, okay, they're 16-year-old boys in the 80s. Fine, just deal with it and look at it that way.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, they were pretty wild. They were pretty wild. All right. In terms of album cuts and expansions, none that I could find. I'm pretty sure you can find it on CD, vinyl, and maybe cassette if you look hard enough. But I'm pretty sure you can find this on vinyl and CD today if you want to pick it up. I personally won't be, but good album. I will be taking some of the songs back to the playlist as we'll get into in a minute. Recommendations, popular. I mean, obviously, for any recommendations, always we always recommend that you go through, the group's catalog or rappers or artist catalog that we talk about. But in terms of other acts popular at the time, definitely check out Run DMC's "Raising Hell." Hopefully, we should be reviewing that on the show pretty soon. LL Cool J's "Bigger and Deffer," also known as "Bad." That was the second album that came out in 1987, so check that out. And then group that we will, I mean, we probably won't get to them till much later, but I gotta shout this group out. And the Beastie Boys did tour with them back in the day. Houdini, Back in Black. That album came out in sometime in 1986. They're the group responsible for songs like Friends and The Freaks Come Out at Night. The Freaks Come Out at Night you might hear like around Halloween time and when you're in a grocery store, I guess. So definitely check those three acts out. They were pretty similar to what the Beastie Boys were doing during that time. You have any questions about the recommendations or
No.
nope, nope. Okay. All right. So closing thoughts. Any tracks you're taking back to your playlist? Overall thoughts that you want to do before we sign off?
I really can't imagine any circumstance in which I would like re-listen to like any of these songs. Honestly, it's just it's very fun. It's very good. If I was 16, I probably would really 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 love it. But I probably won't listen to these songs again. I did like their newer stuff. Like when I was listening to that interview from 2006,
Mm.
they played little clips of their newer stuff. They even put out a movie
Oh
where
yeah,
they had the fans record their stage performance, which was very unique. The guy that died was like a filmmaker,
yeah. MCA,
and
yeah. He did films. Yeah,
yeah, so
yeah,
very good, very good group. I'll probably listen to their later stuff. It was a good experience to listen to, but I'm probably never listening to it again.
yeah. All right. Well, I mean, at least you're honest. At least as for this album, definitely Brass Monkey, Paul Revere. Those are two of my favorites that will stick. Even No Sleep Till Brooklyn. I that sticks. And then definitely after listening to the album, I wanna. My honorable mentions the New Style and Posse in Effect. Definitely want to give. So I'll probably have those in my rotation. As for some of their newer stuff or later stuff that they did, definitely I want to shout out a couple songs. We'll probably do another BC Boys project down the line, but I like the song "Pass the Mic." That's a really good song. And then there's another song called, and this is probably their biggest hit of at least of the '90s, "Sabotage." Very funny music video. If we ever do that album, definitely want to talk some Sabotage. But check it out, folks. At least the music video for Sabotage. That was a good song. But all right.
Well, I was gonna say one more thing
Mm-hmm.
that in the 2006 interview they say they described themselves as the weird uncles of hip hop
Mm-hmm.
who stop by, say weird things, get drunk and leave,
Yeah.
and that was my experience, and it was enjoyable, although I'm not gonna be doing it all the time.
It's all good. It's all good. All right. So let us know what you guys think of this album in the comments below. Your favorite tracks, which ones you liked, which one you didn't like. Yep. For Netta, this is Justin saying thank you for watching, thank you for listening. We will see you on the next one. See ya.